Oh, there he is. There's Fletch.
Nice banjo.
Yeah, just stay leaned over to the side.
The whole time.
Which camera's on? This damn. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Switch some stuff here real quick. Mike
is he's not feeling well today, so he maybe pop in and out, but
we are live, huh?
Yeah, we're live. So
live and recording. All right.
What's up?
Nice.
What's up, everybody?
Live in your living room.
All right. So Mike, which camera?
Mike got a COVID test and kind of wimped out.
No, he got a COVID vaccine.
The vaccine. Yeah.
The vaccine. Well, that's kind of.
You wouldn't think you would need the vaccine if you've had it 5 times, but
dude, I only got it because
right.
My mom and my sisters will never fucking see me again if I don't get it, dude. Like I didn't get it from.
I didn't think you liked them. Hope they're not watching.
I don't like them. I've been selfish enough in my life to like.
No, not you, Mike.
Not me, dude. Not me. No. So I got it for my family. I'm gonna go on record saying this. I got this so that my kids can see their grandma and shit. Not for me.
When I eventually get it, it'll be for all the old people. So,
exactly, dude.
Kill anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, Brad's not selfish. He's doing it for everyone.
Everyone, all the old people. Yeah, because I mean, within reason, I don't have to worry about it as much as like if I were 80, I'd be worried more.
Yeah.
But you know what I do have to worry about now is on my runs, a pit bull. So have I told you guys this story? This is way off topic from
this
SEO.
This may be a perfect segue. I got to figure this out because if I've got 3 or 4, okay, I got to move over here.
I'll tell a quick story
now
while
I'm ahead of the banjo. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I look outside because the dog's freaking out, and the show's mascot freaking out. Because and I look outside, there's another dog out there. It's a pit bull. It followed 2 ladies home that were like on a walk with their kids or something, friendly. But I was like, "Is that so and so's dog?" They're like, "Who?" And I got closer. I was like, "Nope, it's not." So I went in, got a leash. I was like, "Where is it?" And they said, "This house." And they described where it was. I was like, "That ratty looking house?" Yeah. I was like, "All right, I'll take it back over." So it's like a mile walk over there. So I walk over there, knock on the door. And she took a while because she looked like she was cooking meth in the back. Yeah.
And you recognize those signs immediately.
Yes. Well, I'm from the Midwest, so that meth is prevalent.
The pit bull had several burn marks on all over his body.
Not yet. It's only 7 months old, but he was friendly and he listened. So I got him back to the house. And but this is right on like where I run, because I run like down and then around and like right past this house. So I was like, great, there's a pit bull on the route now. So I was like, so she's, oh, sorry, I didn't know he gotten out. I was like, yes, she did. But I was like, what's his name in case I see him again? And she says KO. I was like, oh, that's a good name. I was like, just in case she's like, it stands for knockout. I was like, thanks, bitch. I know what KO stands for, but yeah, whatever. So then I run twice a week, Wednesday and Sunday. So I run right by their house. So every time I've got my music playing, so I turn it down as I'm going by, and I watch for KO in case he like comes to greet me or something. I don't want to be surprised. So yesterday, this has been a few weeks. Yesterday I'm on my run because yesterday was Wednesday. So I go on my run, and it's this big hill where their house is. So I'm looking like this much, like I'm past their house this much, where I'm like looking over my shoulder to make sure KO is not running after me. So I was like, I am safe. I do that every time. So I get up to the end of the road and take a right. So I'm in front of someone else's house, like a good ways, like up the hill now. And I'm running, and I feel something on the back of my fucking calf, and I almost shit my pants. I was like, shit, it was KO. He came to greet me, so I am petting him. I was calling him by name so he doesn't chew. He could have gotten hold of my calf, but so I get him, and he listens really well because I walked him all the way back down to his. I'm about to steal their dog. Back down to his house, and I ring the doorbell, and I think I woke them up because it was not the meth addict that I saw before. It was 2 different meth addicts, I believe. So I ring the doorbell. I'm sitting there. KO's wagging his tail. KO's wagging his tail.
Was he wagging his tail?
Yeah, he was. Is Mike coming in or out? So I ring the doorbell again, and then I hear grumbling. Eventually, like I'm knocking. I'm standing there for 10 minutes in the middle of my run. I'm knocking, and eventually this dude that looks like he's from the 8 Mile movie, except not as classy. So opens the door about that much, and he's like, looks at me like, "What the fuck do you want?" This is the life of an SEO, by the way. He's like, "What the fuck do you want?" And I was like, I was on a run, and your dog followed me up the hill, so I brought him back. He's like, "Oh, I didn't see no cars drive by." I was like, "Yes, I wouldn't have been running if I had been in a car." So, thank you. He's like, "Oh, okay." I have no doubt in my mind that KO is going to greet me again. So,
you should bring him home. He sounds like a good dog.
Yeah,
he's a good dog.
The owner.
Yeah, that's what I feel bad because they've got a kid that's a little bit older than Brighton, but I feel bad for the girl and the dog. But I could give a shit about the parents or whatever.
Bad situation, yeah, they made their choice.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah,
but anyway, that was
wildlife is wild. You know what?
Yeah,
I got tagged by a brown recluse right there.
Damn.
And yesterday I went to the doctor. They circled the swelling. And they gave me a shot and some pills, and she was like, if the swelling goes outside of that circle, you got to come back and we need some more drastic measures.
Crazy.
And so I suffered through the night, and but with many hallucinations. But right now, I think
was it really that bad?
Insects are no joke, man.
Yeah, they're not, especially the recluse. I could take this off and show it to you guys, but it's really disgusting.
Like this nasty pus-filled cavity that you're.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's freaking gross.
And Dave, I live in the gentrified neighborhood, but it's on the other side of the tracks. So I leave my comfort zone, I suppose.
Our neighbors. Well, so let me. Mike's kind of in and out, right? He's on, but so
hang on, Fletch. I think we got a question right here.
Oh yeah, no, fire it. Yep.
11 clients, and I am almost to quitting my job. Is there a group and training that someone would help me with the transition? Give some support, guys asks. There's NFG. What would you guys suggest? I want to just.
What kind of support are you looking for? Are you looking for how to write
scaling an agency or
how to write a resignation letter? Stick it to your boss.
Mike Long actually helped me write my resignation letter.
No way.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. That Fletch got it.
That's all you need, man. Yeah.
That's it right there. Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, if you're able to do that, bro.
This is I want to hear what you have to say, Corey. This is actually kind of what I was trying to set up right with the question. This is perfect thematically with what I want to get into today. So launch, Corey, like this is on par with I think something that's very important to a lot of people, which is like, what am I doing? When do I decide? What threshold needs to be crossed before I make that decision and burn bridges and all that kind of thing. So I want to hear what you guys have to say. Yeah.
I'm probably the wrong guy to ask this question because my philosophy is you jump off a cliff, you take a risk, and then that's when the energy level comes up to the point to where you're actually gonna you're gonna rise to the occasion. So while you still have your job, I still consider that, Chris, I consider that an impediment to your success in this industry. I purposefully got myself fired when I was nowhere near even replacing my income because I knew that there was no other way that I was gonna just get the candle lit under my ass to
back
take
against the wall.
action. Exactly. So you'll notice that as soon as you make that decision, the things that you did to get those 11 clients, I don't know how you got them. Maybe there were referrals, maybe you're running some ads or whatever. But as soon as you make, I would say that day job, as comfortable as that is providing something for you, you're still in handcuffs. You still don't own your time. You're not calling the shots for your own life until you fully are able to walk away from that, and then your energy levels will meet with the expectations that you have on your life. But it'll only be after. So right now you've risked nothing, right? All you've done is increased your income. And
Yeah,
look
that's pretty badass getting 11 clients.
Yeah, look what you've done so far. Like that is
solid.
freaking badass. That's while carrying a job. So
well,
one thing, Corey.
Mike,
let me
Mike,
jump
go
in
ahead.
there really
Yeah.
quickly
Mike
because
woke
I've
up.
seen this a ton of freaking times. The cat keeps adding me to the damn show, so I'm going to be here for a bit. He was walking and staring at Corey's freaking spider bite. But there's a student that came through I talked to recently. He's killing it, 200K a freaking month and everything, doing real estate now. I told him years ago, I said, don't freaking quit your day job until you've got at least a year in the bank and you're ready to roll on that. So I'm going to continue saying that to everybody. There is something to be said to making yourself hungry, but you have a responsibility to yourself and to the people that you support to make sure that you do it safely. And I really do think it's important for you to have more than just the clients lined up and the eagerness. I think it's important for you to be ready to invest and to toss money in when you have those bad months, because dude, those bad months will come for sure. So that's my devil's advocate on that.
No, that's great. We need that perspective.
The cushion is good, and I would take that cushion and try and hide it for myself and try and forget about it, because that's how I try and save. I'm like, man.
Exactly. That's exactly what you do. You can't think you have the cushion.
Like after you pay taxes every year and have just your day-to-day expenses and shit, I want like hardly anything left in the bank. I want it to be somewhere making me money.
That student called me up one time in tears. It was like, dude, I just lost 80% of my income. I said, chill out, give it a week or two. But dude, you're still in a spot where you got to where I asked you to get to, right? He's like, yeah, I'm good for at least a year. And I told him to put a year away of what he was making at his current day job, not a year away of what he was making monthly. And I've done this many times with people, and he weathered it just fine. He got his income back up, and his income was only down for a few weeks, but the fact that he was good to go for like a year makes that time period, it gives you a strength that you lack, and you make bad decisions if you don't have. I've seen people make really bad decisions when they are in a situation where their income's down and they have no cushion. So having the ability to take care of yourself is extremely important. But on that note, having a community like NFG, and I will straight up say like NFG, and I think that's where you should go, is to NFG SEO and NFG Monthly, because there's people in there that will help you make money when you need to make money, and that you can talk to when you have those downtimes. So like at this point where you're at, you're rocking it, you're kicking ass. It's time to start building those relationships, and that's a place you can do it, dude. And people have ideas, and they will take the time to help you with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
So, to like building some credibility in what we've experienced, right? So Corey, what was the transition like for you? Like coming out of getting into digital marketing, right? And having an agency or affiliate, like whatever you did first, like what was that like? Like building these bridges is sometimes a lot of like revisiting things that we don't quite really like. We've categorized them in such a way where we remember them that way. And that's not always accurate, right? There's what I guess I'm trying to drive at is that when you're in the moment and you're making decisions, you wind up remembering why you made the decision more than like maybe all of the context surrounding what was going on. And for me, so the like a kickoff question that I was going to ask was, why are you doing what you're doing right now? And like what created the decision you made to become an SEO or whatever, and why have you stayed with that? Because it's really big in that it tends to be a very massive decision that we all make to turn away from something we knew, but then what it winds up turning into is a really worn trail where then that becomes the thing that we're almost trapped in as well.
Yeah, 100. That makes a lot of sense to me when you put it that way. my path was, I'm started off doing graphic design and web design for my church. And then people that were there started asking if I could, hey, can you help my business out and do a website? So I started doing those, building them all by hand, Dreamweaver, HTML sites, way
I've
back.
been deep into Dreamweaver all day today.
No.
Yeah. That's why I run all my landers as HTML. So, I mean, I'm old school Dreamweaver, so I can re-upload them.
No, and that's good. So I had that knowledge, and I was working as a for a software company doing being their marketing director, because I had graphic and web design, and then they were like, well, we need you to do leads, and I started doing PPC as soon as Google launched it. I was like launching products.
That's sick.
But then and so I was doing that for them, and then I started getting into SEO, and this goes back to like probably 2012. And then so as I was getting into that, I realized that, well, shoot, this is a brand new way, because all the people that I was working for, making websites and stuff, they're like, hey, yeah, it's great, but nobody ever finds me. Can you put me up there on Google somehow? And I was like, well, I'll figure it out. So I just took that red pill and went down, and that's how I just really got educated on this. And then I thought, this is a business model right here. So I responded to a couple Craigslist posts, and I think I was bringing in a couple grand a month while I still had my job. And in the meantime, I was like, man, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep getting clients. I created a website, did my graphic design, updated my LinkedIn page with all my own brand, agency stuff while I still had a job at the software company. And I knew that I was going to get fired because I couldn't tell my wife, hey, I'm going to just pursue this other thing and quit my job. Like, that never would have flown. So I had to go get fired. So I did. I got fired, and then it was time to scramble. I really just it kicked me into high gear. I didn't have anything in the bank that looked anywhere near like a year's worth of cushion, which probably led to a lot more sleepless nights than was necessary. Definitely there. So then I transitioned, and I into like agency SEO, saw all the different models, and then finally just figured out, okay, this is how I can do the most impact, bring in the best kinds of clients without requiring as much of my time that would stop me from everything that I wanted to get involved in a business for anyways, which is have time to hang out with the kids and do the things that I love with the people that I love. And so sometimes that can become a cap in your life. Like, well, I only want to put so much work in there. And then so I don't have to, but that also affects your income. And then that becomes that trap that you talked about, Fletch. So you get this idea, you're running a business, you're calling the shots, but then you're almost like in these handcuffs that you've put on yourself.
That you created.
You created those. And those handcuffs, you can still see the path. I can invest more time and I can make more money. You're still in the handcuffs. So I think everybody who's running sort of the one-man gang sort of show, which I imagine Chris is probably doing, that's really what you're looking at. Until you can outsource some things, you can outsource some graphic design or some implementation or sales or anything like that. That's when you can start to let things go and start thinking more like a business owner instead of like a really high paid. Most people who do internet marketing don't have a business; they have a job. So it's
a grind.
It definitely can
be a continuous grind. It can be. Built to Sell is a good, really quick read that kind of lays out. It doesn't show you step by step, but conceptually, it's pretty good. You can read it in like a day and a half, something like that. So. Someone I was talking to at some point recommended it, but I have no idea who. But yeah, Built to Sell. I would take a look at that, Chris. If you're looking at processes for, running an agency like that. They actually mention not doing SEO in there, but at this point, the way that we've got
explicitly, they mentioned that, right?
Yeah,
I read the book. Yeah,
is that
they
it?
Explicitly say don't do this because the processes are not things that are going to have a lot of shelf life, right? If I recall,
and the continuous training, and it's more
Wolf
like
of Wall Street said the same thing. Like, don't do SEO because things are going to change.
Yeah.
And-
Thank
and
you.
you're
Thank
not
you
gonna
for
be able
telling.
to.
Thank you, Wolf,
Yeah.
for and thank you for telling everybody not to do that.
Exactly.
You know
Content
what's
links.
funny? You know, what's really funny is I would never take the advice of putting the year away that I've given people. That's just not me. I never would take that advice myself. You know, the person I told that to, it took them 2 months to put away a year's worth of their, you know, $180,000 a year salary, right? So in 2 months, they had their year.
You're doing pretty good then, huh?
Yeah, they were doing very well. And they were getting to that point. And that's why we had this conversation, because it was that situation where it's time to like really start thinking about who you're going to be as a businessman. Are you going to spend your money? Are you going to keep going out every night and rock this? Or are you going to put away your money and you're going to be ready to actually run your business, right? And he made the right decision, and he's reaping the benefits, you know, 4 years later. I don't know, a couple years later, I don't know how long it's been. But he's reaping the benefits. The dude's investing in real estate. The dude's doing a whole bunch of stuff, and he took it serious enough to actually put that money away and treat it like a business and not a day job and extra income. And I think that, Corey, what you're saying is spot on. Is that there is, if you're not able to break the reality of the fact that, yes, I'm working on something that could be a business, but right now it's just a revenue stream, then you're getting a ceiling put on yourself that doesn't need to be there. And I think that's what I've seen it help people with, is that they start treating it like a reality of like, I'm going to leave this security blanket. I need to be ready for everything that comes, because the bad times will freaking come. It's not going to be good times forever. And that's what is really important when that decision is made. So that year income is somewhat arbitrary. It sounds like a good thing. It's what I've always told people. But it really comes down to making the decision to go all in. And I think the only way to do that responsibly is to acknowledge the fact that you could quit today and tomorrow 11 clients could decide they can't do it, or there's another pandemic or something with the economy, and all that revenue
We've
is
seen
gone.
a lot of revenue just dissipate
Yes.
a year ago.
That's true.
11 clients is great while it's happening, but
Yep.
it's not anything sure in 4 months.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
here's the kind of add on to one of the things I was thinking about in putting, you know, some questions out there for today, is that a lot of people approach their career, their livelihood, how they make decisions based on how much am I going to make? And, you know, 11 clients, or I'm making 25,000 a month, or whatever it might be. And then at the end of the day, a different way of looking at it is, I was able to create value and take this money and put it here, and that's money I have now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even consider that. They
watch
they
the,
want to grow how much they make per month, and that's all well and good or whatever. But if you're not taking money out and putting it there, like it's like having a year worth of, you know, money in the bank or what. Well, what you need is, okay, the rest of your life's money needs to be someplace. You're either going to have to work for it and let other people pay you, or you need to put it someplace where you can instruct and guide what you're going to do with that.
Yeah. It's not what you make, it's
so
what you keep.
it's what you keep. And I've worked with so many people, and I've lived my own life as well, and I've done this. And it's like, oh, well, you know, 20,000, 25,000, like 30,000. It's like, oh, this is what I'm making. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to live accordingly. I'm going to, you know, be fun and happy, and, you know, buy ammo and guns and all this other stuff. But
ammo's
then-
expensive right now, right?
yeah, well,
I've heard.
I'm looking at actually selling some of mine, because it's
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Like, this is okay. It's an investment. Okay, I'm trying to reframe how I look at it. A lot of people who are doing this work, see people who are lauding or talking about how much they're making, and their benchmark is how much revenue am I doing per month, right? Or per year, whatever it might be, right? However you look at that. But that doesn't really necessarily get you to a place where you can more properly look at what you're doing. I'm trying to think of a good way to say this.
Well, don't they say that you're not rich until your investment income or recurring income that you don't have to do anything with outpaces your expenses, right? Because then if you're doing that, it's completely automated. Say you're retired and you've got a pension from your work plus Social Security, and you're bringing in like 50 grand a year. If you only are living off 40 grand a year, then essentially you're rich. Where
you're retired.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. If you're making $3 million a year and
that.
spending $4 million, then you're not.
You're
screwed. You're poor, essentially.
So this is not about how much you make.
Yeah.
About how much you keep, and that's kind of trite. But you've got to be able, and this is why I was like, why are we all doing this, right? Why are we on this podcast? We all have SEO interests.
I ask myself that fucking question every week.
I have myself as well. No, but where it really points to is not getting stuck in the thing that you think is the thing that you are, right? I'm making money because I have an agency and we're doing X number of dollars per month, and I'm just trying to grow that. Whereas it's like, well, what I was doing before construction wise, this is like a factor of 10 above income. But then I got into SEO, making money online, and well, maybe there's a whole factor of 10 above that as well if I start to look at things differently.
That's a good way to put it, man.
Yeah, I like that.
And so I think there is, Fletch, and like guys that I share an office with, good friends of mine, like their factor of 10 is they get a process down. They do mostly Amazon, and they'll optimize the products. If they have a process down for getting them to rank organically, that includes like some paid, different lists and stuff. And then they go out and buy these other companies that they evaluate to see what kind of upside potential there are. So they'll take out like they'll put 50,000 down and take out like $1 million loan. And then let's say the company's profitable, it's profiting $20,000 a month. They recuperate their investment in the
50K.
In just a couple months, but they're still, let's say they're paying $10,000 a month on that loan. So in 5 months they've recuperated their original investment, and then they're bringing it in. And meanwhile they're 5 or 10xing the revenue on the business is doing. So I think and that's a really good way to put it, man, is that like, hey, I took this quantum leap at one point in my career, in my money making skills. What's the next quantum leap? And I think that goes to, just to expanding your awareness. Like, what could that look like where I'm doing the same amount of work right now? Or maybe even like, so Fletch, when you were in construction versus right now, were you doing more or less work?
Construction wise? No, I was in the field 50 hours a week. And, there was a lot. And this is something Corey, he lobbed this one up here for me to really take a swing at. The times I've made, and I said made, like profited, I put that in the bank and it was done, paid for all the overhead, everything. The times I have made the most money were correlated with the times I worked the least. I'm not saying those always go together, but what I'm saying is that there are ways of operating that a lot of us are not aware of until we wind up in a situation where we experience that. And with SEO, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, I got to write this article, I got to build this link. It's like, well, there might be a completely different experience you can have that turns into a lot more money. Okay, in this scenario, we might be talking about scaling an SEO business or whatever it might be, but those exist. I've experienced, they definitely exist. And going from, construction to SEO, that was one of these things where I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing, but it's a lot better to sit like at Starbucks on my laptop and make 10 times more money. But it would be naive of me to think that then this is the top echelon. This is where I need to stay.
Right, exactly.
I need to continue to use the same thinking or methodology that helped me make the decision to do this on whatever else might be there, right? As long as the right things are in place. And I think a lot of folks who make money with SEO or online marketing or whatever it might be, it's like, oh, this is it, right? This is the place I need to get really, really good at, and I'm not going to continue to keep my mind open to a different way of looking at what I now know.
In your opinion, how do you inspire yourself to look for that next level? Fletch, I know that's a loaded question, but
well, I got an answer, Fletch. Actually, I had a conversation with Mike Pavez, the former president of Ads for Dough, an affiliate program that Smaxer started years ago, just 2 days ago. And he's like, man, I had a conversation. He goes, we decided we wanted to renovate our house. And I looked at my wife and I said, let's just go rent a beach house, a $2,000, $4,000 a night beach house in Hawaii for a couple months and let them just like tear everything apart. And we'll come back when they're putting stuff that we can use back in. And he said, I hate when I get into that routine where that day job or whatever I'm doing at the time is like, I'm just chasing that money. I like being hungry. I like going out there and going, I want to do this. I want to go to Hawaii for 2 months and spend $4,000 a day. How the hell am I going to do that? Let's figure out how to make that money. Wow. And I think that those desires in life, those things that we want to do, like when I decided to build this freaking farm, I went out and made the money to build this freaking farm, dude. Like these little motivations and goals, at least.
He watched Green Acres and got inspired.
Exactly. These the little motivations are what do it for me. And I don't know if that's what it is for you guys, but like when I decide I want something, because I don't sit down and want to buy shit all the time. It's not something that's part of my life. But when I do, then it's like, okay, let's go make money. And I think that's how I've done it.
Also, like one of the things I consider is like the I guess inherent question. Like I posited a question to myself, which was, is construction the thing that I can do to make the most money, right? And it was kind of like almost obvious maybe there's something else, and that let me open up to doing SEO and ranking websites and all that.
Well, SEO was feeding the construction there for a while, wasn't it?
Oh, very much so. Very much. Yeah. I had no intention in becoming like this as a profession.
That's how I got into web design and then further. SEO.
That you said that, Brett. We've talked a lot, obviously, but what I don't want to lose is that same openness to saying I'm now an SEO, and then I'm not going to look at how else I can look at things I know and opportunities to create value that extend beyond what I would call my day job, right? My thing I do, whether it's writing articles or building links or managing, people. It just seems like there's like this embedded question or openness that people, like the first question that came up, it's like, I got these, like, when am I ready to move? Well, I don't know, right? It's on you. You've got to figure that out.
There could be an event too. Like Corey got let go. I know he halfway did it purposely, but Corey got let go. When I left, the owner of the business is actually talking about he was looking for a buyer. He wanted to sell the business, and then I was going to end up having to work for this other company, for the much larger company for the same amount of money, but I was going to have to manage like 5 or 6 of their sites and run the shop and all that stuff. So I was like, now's probably the good time to go. So maybe, I mean, some people need a catalyst. I mean, I feel like that's what I needed.
Yeah. So Brad, like the go, right? It's the somehow willingness to see that there is an opening and you don't know what's over there. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go over there and see what it's like.
Yep.
That like that is skill, maybe. Yeah, I think
That's
it's
a
probably
skill, Fletch.
right?
It's a
It's
skill.
saying like from where I am right now, things are okay, but I'm gonna at least be open to seeing what's over there, right? And with 11 clients, you know what's over there, right? It's like, oh, there's a lot of potential income, money. My life could be different. I don't have to go to work and clock in and clock out and all that kind of thing.
That sucks when you've got to get up in the morning and like take a shower. And I get up early still, but
I gotta take a shower every day.
I can get up and
Come on.
read and work out and drink some coffee.
To put
and just
pants
chill.
on. Jeez.
Yeah,
Who
dude,
likes
The
wearing
problem
pants?
with that,
I got to go out and scrape my fucking car.
Yeah, I got to
problem
drive
with
somewhere.
Fletch, a lot of people can't do that. And I've had conversations with a lot of people that I know that are extremely intelligent that are way too terrified to think like that. They're way too scared.
I mean, it's human nature, in my opinion, to be fearful of stuff
Yeah,
like that.
well, but one thing that's true is that, and so I heard somebody put that, it could have been David Mills for all I remember, but said if you have a skill, like a professional level skill that could earn you $100,000 or more per year, then you have a really solid base for creating a business around that. So I mean that's like your CPAs that, you know, a couple $100 a month you can get a CPA and they've got 1,000 clients and they're doing super good, or SEO, or any kind of marketing. I think so. In just looking back at the trajectory, you come into the world, you learn that you have to trade your dollars for hours. You go to a trade school, you become really good at something that's a little more specialized. You're earning maybe six figures. You're working 50, 60 hours a week. Mine was welding. I'm a welder by trade, and I was building solid machinery.
That's why I like you, Corey.
So this is when I lived up in Spokane, Washington. I was working 6 12-hour days a week for $11 an hour.
Damn.
And I just remember thinking to myself, "There's got to be a better freaking way."
That's rough on you too.
It was hard. I would get like industrial induced asthma and just all kinds of crap.
And just like it doesn't like your skin peel off because it's so hot.
Your hair falls out. That's
hey, I got a sunburn today, babe.
So,
yeah,
hey, Corey,
massive sunburn. Yeah,
Corey. So you're someone that I know that has that, but I've literally heard someone that I think is one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life tell me
it's not me. By the way,
I said one. Not me.
Hey, Brad, we knew that.
Just for everyone out there in TV, whoever's watching, it is not me.
They literally told me that I can't do that because if I do that, I'm not going to be able to perform without. Like they're terrified of trying to do it themselves. They can't bring themselves to be an entrepreneur. And I think that's easy for all of us in here to forget because we have the personality type. Mm-hmm. I will walk into any situation and I'm so fucking full of myself that I think I'll succeed, dude. Yeah. Like I truly believe I will succeed at everything I do. I never ever think I will fail. That's not what everyone feels, right? And not.
But you're not going to walk up to Elon Musk and tell him that you're going to show him how to build a better BFR like rocket that'll hit.
Are you sure?
I walked up to Elon.
Maybe you will.
I might do that. I've done shit like that.
It's going to do like quantum physics and shit. It's going to be Micro or Fletch. So
yeah, it won't. It definitely won't be the
like. I'm going to be thinking in the back of my head at that situation. I'm going to be like, well, I know this one dude, and it can happen. Like, there's always methods. It's not necessarily that I'm better at it than someone else, but I know I can do a better job of putting this together, or I'm gonna take what you're doing and I'm gonna make it better. Like that, I think there's a motivation there. And I'm not saying that I can do everything, but that's the way my mentality has been since I was young. And it's why I never worked for anyone else, right? I never worked for anyone else because I'm not employable, dude.
Like, so one of the things
I'm about to fire him.
I would never hire him.
No way in hell. No. He comes in, I'm like this.
Oh, dude, I've walked out of so many situations that were not positive for me, dude. Like, I'm not employable. Like, if you're shit, if you want me to do something for you that's going to put me in a place where it's going to hurt me or my family, like, you're not for me, dude. Like, I will literally walk out I've walked out of so many jobs when I was younger because they decided to tell me that I wasn't going to go do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, dude. So I had no choice but to do what I do for a living, you know, and build this.
So zooming out back again, you start off again, Mike. You take a little certain skill level that you have, and Fletch and Brad, and you make a business out of it. At least you're working on your own terms. The amount of work that you're doing is significantly less, and the amount of money you're making is significantly more. So if you look at like Fletch was talking about earlier, is just if that is true. And I think it was like on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous way back in the day. The guy said the richest people I know, I've never seen them work at all. I've never actually seen them do anything, but they're the richest people I know. So if it's true that there's certain ways in order for that actually leverage your money and your time in better than what we're currently doing, that will 10x what you're currently doing. After you've leveraged, so you've gone from one level to the next level, you've 10xing that. What does that look like? And I think like SEO probably hit all of us from different places at different times, but it was not a path that we were on. It was completely outside of our awareness that collided with us, and we
couldn't even spell
it. That what, just SEO? You couldn't spell that?
Yeah.
So if we can figure out the answer to that, though. How do you make someone comfortable? That's all well and good to say, but I'm telling you from experience, people can know that, but they will not do it because they're terrified. So how do you get them to take that step?
I feel like it's baby steps.
I'm trying to figure out how to get the people that have taken the step in this room, taking that step to take that, to find what is that next step.
Yeah, my goal is, have you ever seen the I think it was on HBO originally, but it's a Warren Buffett documentary. It's about like, it starts with his early childhood and early career, and as he builds up. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Well, he starts out, and as he's getting going, Berkshire Hathaway, the holding company essentially that he runs now, was a textile company. He made two pivotal investments kind of by chance. He just bought them because they were businesses for really good prices. But two pivotal ones were Berkshire Hathaway, which was a textile company, and the second was Geico. And Berkshire Hathaway was significant. He actually got pissed because his dad had just passed away, and the guy was like, agreed on a price to buy. And then he came in under, thinking that Warren would just be like, oh, okay, go on. But it pissed Warren off, so he just bought more and more and more and more, and just took over the company. But Berkshire Hathaway was significant because the textile industry, they had, from their product sales, they had cash flow coming in, right?
Okay, right.
And it's not like you take $100,000 investment and then you grow that steadily. He would take the cash flow from Berkshire and disperse it to his investment. So it's always coming in, which is how I try and look at, like, when I'm doing like PPL campaigns and stuff like that. I've got cash flow coming in. And then, like Fletch was saying earlier, where are we going to disperse that? Where are we going to make the money? You could put it back into PPL, but that's, I mean, in my opinion, that's capped to a certain
kind of incremental, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a little bit,
correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, and SEO, as we all know, is hurry up and wait, you know? So I've got all this time on my hands because it's hurry up and wait. I can get a lot done and just wait for it to kick in. So I've got the PPL income coming in, and then Geico was the second one that was important because they had the float. So they had extra money coming in, and they could take that float from the insurance revenue coming in and then disperse that as well, which is how insurance companies essentially work. But I thought that was interesting. And that's always been, you know, maybe not to the Warren Buffett level, maybe eventually, but we've got this business that has cash flow coming in. It's relatively, like, I mean, the top versus the bottom line, like, I have to fucking try to find write-offs at the end of the year. You know, you know, I'm taking over a bigger office space in my house, so I can write more of like the improvement.
more square footage.
You know? Yeah, but if we're looking at cash on cash returns, SEO is insane. You know, so we've got cash flow coming in, and now my ultimate goal, now that I've got that coming in, is to disperse that into you know, some investment type property, whether it's, I'm not going to do real estate. Equities is where I really want to, you know, where I'm really focusing on. So now I'm focusing at taking all that cash flow and dispersing it into the market and having that grow. So like I've done, online events now. I did one this past weekend to really nail down options and shit like that. I've been doing equities for a while, but I always want to get better at that. But the market's so inflated that I want cash flow coming in from one, the equities that I already own, and two, from the cash on hand that I have. How can I use that to turn that money into more money? So that's my ultimate goal. And that's my level up. Yeah.
That
Corey,
is leveling up.
roll that back one more time to the person who's
Roll
in the
that beautiful bean footage
with 11 clients in the day job. I would make the suggestion that he hasn't taken that step yet, and he is scared to take that step, because I would be out of that day job with 2 of those clients.
unless the clients are 200 a month.
Well, yeah, relatively. Like from my experience, when I worked day jobs and did SEO, 2 clients was more than enough to fucking roll something else out of life, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, like, that's why I think I've always told people get a year in the bank, because I see most people as needing that to take that step. Now, my question is how do we get the person who is like, we don't know where that line is. For me, that line is a lot sooner. I'm out of the day job way before 11 clients. If they're still in the day job at 11 clients, what is the block that's stopping you from taking
exactly
that, right?
It's probably fear of losing said clients, I would think.
One of the things I would raise as a question is for people to consider what they think about money and where it's created. Right? It comes with the creation of value. Mm-hmm. And if you can understand something that creates value, you can literally make money. I'm not talking about printing more dollars, from a government perspective.
That doesn't create value.
It devalues what you already have.
That's a whole different podcast, Mike. But what I'm talking about is, like, if you can understand that concept of I am creating value, therefore I am going to receive money. That is this thing that when, if, and how you get to that point where that's clear to you. It's not like a belief I have to chant as a mantra and make myself believe, but like actually clearly understanding that is the only way money is made. I'm not talking about received, but made. And then you latch on to the thing that you've done to create that value. That opens the heavens, right? That then can take you wherever you want to go.
I like that.
Create value here. And if I can, well, now I've got to look at a business. I've got to look at the marketing, and I've got to look at sales and all that kind of, like, literally create value.
That's the whole Tony Robbins perspective: create massive value, and then the money will essentially come.
Yeah, but even if it's not massive,
it's
tiny.
Like, but whatever it is, like the realization is that every dollar you earn is a certificate of appreciation for some sort of value or work that you've done. Good.
That's another reason why I like PPL, because I get paid when the phone rings. I get paid on a, someone calls in and has insurance and needs treatment, that's what they're looking for. So, and that pays more than, just the raw calls and stuff. So, I look at my primary income source is PPL. I look at that as just direct value to the, one, the networks, if I'm going through it, and two, the end user, as in the person purchasing the calls. So yeah, that's, in my head, that's how it is.
So
all right,
the question here from James. Oh yeah, go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
No, it's good. You guys answer James' question.
Yeah. So actually, the skill I currently hold in highest regard is relationships.
Yeah.
And the reason why is that if I want money, somebody is going to have to give that to me. And that means another entity or person or business or whatever is going to have to see value I create as worth the money they're going to pay me. And so for me, relationships are the thing that I would value most highly.
Yes, I agree 100%. I don't think that anything's possible without connection and interaction.
Well, if all you're doing is networking, then essentially you could put this you could just arbitrage all day.
And that's the best money.
Right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
let's assume though, let's just for argument's sake though, Fletch, James lives in the middle of he
lives in Idaho.
He lives in Idaho.
He can't network
an
much.
hour outside of Mike's big town of 8,000 where nobody's around.
Are they up to 8,000 now? That's
the county.
So like what kind? So I would assume that James maybe
James is a Unabomber sitting in the woods in his cabin.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's got an internet connection. I'm assuming that he wants to earn some money.
Well, he's on here, so we know he has internet connection. Right. So there's like certain things we can know. Like let's work on what we can know. Okay, you have an internet connection. I met my wife on the internet.
Match.com?
Yes, it was Match.
Craigslist.
Well, no. That's a different story for a different time, my friend.
No, that one's worth listening to.
Yeah, but it's like there's certain things you can know and you can build with, and it's not like you have to know 1,000 people that are all high wealth. You need to be able to create value, and then let somebody else know about it. Like you want like business 101. That's it. Like if you can do that, you can create value and let somebody know about it. Okay, now build on that. You can't have a business without that, and it's very easy to get started if you're just thinking about those elements.
That $1 billion, I know we've mentioned it on the show before, but that $1 billion undercover billionaire with Cardone on it right now. I think he's at 20 or 25 grand a month, started a marketing company. All he did was go find this one dude that owns a mattress store, a gym, and a few other business, serial entrepreneur. Dude seems like he comes from money. So Grant latches onto him. They're walking into this meeting. How sure are you that he's gonna sign this, $10,000 a month contract? And the guy's like 90% sure. He's like, all right, let's go do it. So he goes in there, it sells marketing services, walks out with 120 grand a year contract, goes into another one, closes 5 grand a month and shit like that. And those aren't tiny contracts. Like if I had gotten a 5 grand a month client right after I started SEO, it'd been like, gone.
You guys would have never met me.
Yeah,
because I would have been trying to do my stuff. Right. Yeah. No, but like what that speaks to is like it can be really simple after you see it, after you experience it. But before you see it, it's
hard.
You're completely blind to it. It's like you guys are talking about stuff that like I've never seen, I've never experienced. But we're also not lying. Like this is what it is. Once you get into that,
but good.
Then you have to consider, well, okay, how do I get into that pool, right? How do I at least experience that? Like the guy that was asking, got 11 clients, like he's experienced it already. It's like, okay, this is a better pool to play around in, swim in, that kind of thing. You can go out blindly and just take some guru's advice that you should become a high ticket closer or whatever it might be, right? Or you can actually dip your toe in a little bit and feel that. It makes it a lot easier to transition.
Yeah. Sales in general is a very valuable skill too. I mean,
that's good. Exactly.
Go hand in hand. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So James, I would that and that's probably good. It's just learn as much as you can about selling. Obviously, my perspective.
You can find someone to fulfill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you really could. Like there's opportunity everywhere if you know how to sell and you somewhat understand an industry and you can provide some value there, then you should be able to make some good money.
That's the hard part of scaling the SEO sales, in my opinion, is training salespeople on the intricacies of SEO. But I mean, if you really want to try and boil your agency down in its content plus links, and you've got this solid SOP process down, then it makes it quite a bit easier to sell, in my opinion.
And easier to teach. And I mean, how many sales guys do you need in an agency to be, to be a 7 or 8 figure agency anyways? I mean, it doesn't take that many guys.
Couple. Yeah.
What I would say honestly is sit down and really look at yourself, because I don't think everyone can do everything. I would sit down and look at yourself, and my skill would be self-evaluation, because I didn't have it when I started this. And I would look at myself exactly and honestly in the mirror and say, okay, what am I good at? What can I fucking do? And without Brad, like a lot of the shit that I've done in the past wouldn't have happened, because I know my limitations at this point in my life. And I think the best thing for anyone getting going is really finding out what the strengths are, and whatever that is, finding the people to be around them and taking the time to find the ones that you can trust, because that shit doesn't come easy, but it does unlock a lot more revenue. And I think that it's kind of hard to answer that question without knowing who you are.
Yeah, that's a great, well said, man.
Like
There
Mike, like hey, your relationship with Brad, right? Like we don't always see ourselves the way other people see ourselves, right? See us. And we can believe a lot about how adept or capable we are at sales or SEO or whatever it might be. But there's sometimes an outside perspective that helps us realize what we're really good at. And frankly, that is exactly what the sales process is.
Right.
But you also then have to act on what you believe. That's kind of the way our mind works, to actually follow through with sales process, phone calls, whatever it might be that you're doing to get more stuff. But a lot of times the catalyst for that is somebody else that knows you well, and they're like, dude, like Mike, you think rather highly of yourself. I think highly of you as well. But like having this, it's not really a vote of confidence. It's that somebody else sees that in you. And if you see that in yourself as well, that's awesome. Like that helps. But
for sure,
having somebody else see that in you is the essence of sales. And if you can get sales and you create value, well, now you have a business. Like period. That's all it takes. And I'm a really big fan of partners and working with people who lend a perspective that
just be careful who you partner with.
Yes, because it can go the other way as well. Yeah. Right. It can be
don't have a partner just for the sake of having a partner.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's like we got a call today because there's an opportunity that's a really good opportunity, but I can't make that damn decision by myself because I see things in a very different light than Brad does, right? So it's like that situation where it does make life a hell of a lot easier. And even if you don't partner, though, knowing yourself and knowing your limitations will save you from taking jobs you shouldn't take, starting businesses that you shouldn't start. And you can actually excel quite a bit more if you're honest and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, look, I suck at this. Being able to truly tell yourself and believe that you suck at shit is probably the biggest skill you can acquire, like early in your career, in my opinion.
Yeah, and sometimes you kind of have to dabble to a certain extent and figure out what you want to do and what you are good at, especially like how many different directions could we take SEO? We could all have completely
how
different
many
jobs.
Different offers are there? There's a 1,000, 10,000. Yeah.
I think I've tried about half of them.
Right, no doubt, dude.
But the weird thing is, those are all valid, right? There's different people who can make them all work. So you don't have to necessarily be like somebody else, right? That's where modeling falls down.
Badass at buying and flipping, sites and doing like these huge affiliate sites is just insane. Like, and that's just not my thing, So.
All right, I think we hit time, dude.
All right.
Well, that was good. Thanks for not making it, Mike.
Yep, you're right. You're welcome, bro. Thank you, everybody out there. For the guy that asked about the PPL site, bring that back next week. We didn't have enough time to review it when you asked. It was about 10 minutes in or out. But if you want to bring that back next week, be there at 11 on Thursday, 11 Mountain or 1 Pacific. Eastern.
Yeah. Be there, bring it next week, and we'll take a look at that site, dude, and we'll go over it for sure. So bring it back next week. Thank you all for your time.